Well, folks, it is Derby Day in the Old North State. This tale of two cities is entering a new chapter, now in League One. But no matter the league, the animosity and action always run high. It's West versus East, it's Charlotte versus Raleigh, it's the Independents and NCFC. Let's put this game into perspective for you with our League One standings. You can kind of see how things shape up here. On the bubble, number 6, Charlotte Independents. A win could take them up the table if results go their way. NCFC, a loss doesn't eliminate them if other teams win, but a win would keep them alive for another week. These standings brought to you by the Birdsong Brewing Company. Now let's look at our players to watch, brought to you by Great Clips. Corey Bennett. I don't know what they're feeding him before these Fuego games, but he is dominant when he's out on the West Coast. 5 goals against this team this year, 2 in the last game last week out in Fresno. He has been on fire. He's the second leading goal scorer in the league. Not much else needs to be said. He can do it all different kinds of ways. He is an out-and-out goal scorer. Watch for him tonight. NCFC led by a main man of their own, Garrett McLaughlin. 12 goals, number 2 in the league. A guy who coach said he's seen more this year than he saw last year at TFC2. He leads the league in penalties scored, and he really is a fox inside the box. He can score them from up close. He's had a few headed goals as well. Watch out for Garrett McLaughlin because he knows how to score in this league. Well, folks, it is Latin Heritage Month here at American Legion Memorial. We're going to get you lineups and live action on a night full of festivities in this North Carolina derby. Two teams that have a lot of hate for each other. Let's see how it goes right after this on ESPN+.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Drink it in. Powerful, vibrant, nutrient-rich fuel for healthy, active, experience-rich lives. So you can be your best self, live your best life, and rule the day.
Hi, I'm Scott, and I love Chick-fil-A nuggets because the flavor is unparalleled. As soon as you bite into them, you're in a happy place. The seasoning is perfect.
Hey, I'm Giovanni, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A nuggets is that they're perfectly breaded. There's just that right amount of crisp. I don't know what they're doing in the kitchen, but it's pure magic.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive
Babe, it's 8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Drink it in. Powerful, vibrant, nutrient-rich fuel for healthy, active, experience-rich lives. So you can be your best self, live your best life, and rule the day.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Welcome back to Charlotte. We're moments away from kickoff between the Independents and North Carolina FC. Tonight, some Latin Heritage Night is presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina. To learn more about Blue Cross Blue Shield and to find a doctor near you, visit bcbs.com. Here's a look back at the game earlier this year when these two teams met. It was in Cary, WakeMed Soccer Park. After having not won for the last 5 games, they came back with a vengeance in CFC. Nicholas Molina got the goal off the assist from McLaughlin, puts them up 1-0 against their in-state rivals. They were not done. A foul conceded inside the box by Shalom Duty gives away the PK. Yellow card is all. Here's the top PK shooter in the league, makes no mistake, and puts them up 2-0. So already some action in this league so far. Here are your starting lineups presented by Adidas. Well, it was a great week last week for Adrian Zendejas in goal. The man was on fire. 12 saves, a League One record against Central Valley, of course, up top alongside Bennett Mbuyu, who is not a slouch himself. 9 goals on the year for him. One of the best strike partnerships in the league. Let's take a look now at the team from Cary. They've got Will Pulisic back in goal, a very good keeper in his own right. McLaughlin alongside him, Olex Anderson. Both teams have very good strike partnerships, but the rock at the back is Jordan Skelton. Most clearances in the league at 141. As the captain, first year with the team, but he's slotted right in. We can take a look at our injury report now. You can see here just a few out, not too many. They lost to here, out in the last game. Injury report brought to you by Novant Health. Laqueta Ibarra, a big miss tonight for the Charlotte Independents. They missed him in the last few. And Keegan Meyer, who will not be on the bench as a backup goalkeeper. So Garrett McLaughlin will get us underway in CFC in white and gold. This tale of two cities entering a new chapter, new league, new setting. West versus East, Charlotte versus the Triangle. It's the Independents, and in CFC, yet again, all we await is the referee from Danielle Chesky. There's the whistle, and we are underway in this North Carolina derby. Well, this is the first time these two teams have ever met on this field. In the meetings in the past, it's gone to a couple different places. Most recently, it was at the Matthews Sportsplex, which was the home for the Independents while this stadium was being renovated. They basically tore the whole thing apart and rebuilt it. It is a fantastic venue for soccer. They've never met here, these two teams, so this will be a real initiation for NCFC. They've met plenty of times in Cary, in a couple of different locations as the Independents have moved around. Here's Hegart. Independents in their classic blues. There's a lot going on around the match. Of course, Latin Heritage Night. We talked to you a little bit about that during pregame. But it's also a crossover event for the spectators tonight. The Blue Furia, who are a supporters group for Charlotte FC, are in the building for this. They're a collection of South American fans who live in the Charlotte area who get together to cheer on Charlotte FC. As you see, Skelton winning a goal kick. But they're traditionally out at Charlotte FC games, but for these particular festivities, they came out, and I got to speak with Jorge, who's a member of the Blue Furia. They said he was very excited. They wanted to bring that Carnival atmosphere to the night. He said it's been awesome just to see the growth of the game in the city recently, how much from Charlotte FC to the Independents, as well as the pro women's team up and coming. So they are going to be over in the corner with the Mecklenburg Reserves and the Independence Ultras. Here's Summersall, taken away by Duty. He's back in the starting lineup. Shalom Duty for the first time since September 9th when they played against Greenville. The last couple of games has been Hector Acosta and Carson Tallboys as the two central defenders for Mike Jeffrey's side. Meeting number 14 between NCFC and the Independents. Was that a foul? No, says Danielle Chesky, and we will have just a corner kick. Olex Anderson brought down right on the edge of the 18. We'll have our first set piece for either side. It's Luis Arriaga, the right-footed in-swinger. Watch for Skelton. Deep ball, and there is Zendejas. What an excellent performance he had last time out in Fresno. The game was a little bit back and forth. Charlotte won 3-0, so it doesn't seem like it. But there was a lot of back and forth, especially early. He had a couple of big saves to settle his side down and kind of give them some breathing room. We spoke with Mike Jeffries of the Charlotte Independence before the game and was just asking him a bit about it. He was very happy with the way that they played in that one and thought it was a very gritty performance overall. I asked him, when did they know that it was a record? Was it kind of they were keeping track? He said, absolutely not. They found out after the game, just conversed over, how excited they were for him that it was a league record. 12 stops. Foul Anderson. St. Vincent and Grenadines International. 5 goals and 3 assists on the year for him. And a little more sparsely featuring in the lineup since about the midway point. Started 12 of the first 14 matches, where all 5 goals and 3 assists that he has this year came in. This is just his 3rd start since those opening 14 games. No goals or assists in them. Max Flick on the far side. Dejas also named the player of the week for those very impressive performance on the road. It was one they could really use because all the teams above them actually drew. It was Draw City all up and down the table. Everyone above them dropping points, so they closed the gap a little bit, which leaves them with the opportunity, risky pass, with the opportunity here, with a win, to move into 4th. They would also need the Red Wolves and Tormenta to drop points. It can be a loss or a draw. But in that case, with a win here, that would put them into 4th and boost their chances of making the playoffs. Dropping points would not be ideal, but it also wouldn't be the end of the world. They've got the Northern Colorado Hailstorm right on their backs, 35 points, just one behind. The good thing for the Independents is they have a game in hand. Trusser Mbuyu brought down by Max Flick. So glad you've joined us for this one. I'm Zach Burley here. Beautiful American Legion Memorial Stadium. Has always been the best places defensively for the Independents. There's 2 clean sheets at home this year. A 0-0 against the Mingos of Forward Madison. And a 4-0 victory over the Fuego. Those were in back-to-back games, so outside those back 2, none. There's a good look at some of the excellent supporters that are out here tonight. Blue Furia, the reserves, the Ultras as well. Good hold-up play by Bennett. Oberton, the Frenchman, making his way back into the lineup after missing a few with injury. Shrugs off one. Fans, it's not too late to get your Matteo's pizza order in before halftime. Go to UncleMatteos.com to place your halftime order now. It's a funny mismatch because these are the 2 worst teams defensively. NCFC leapfrogged over the Independents for most goals conceded at 43. The Independents right behind them on 42 allowed. Skelton and Gustavo Fernandez. Here's Max Flick. Lovely ball through the lines. Arriaga. Now Anderson against Santos. Anderson scooped up. Just missed the head of Cervania. Lou Young. And that's Arriaga fouled by Duty. "14 meetings now between these two sides. The previous 13, NCFC have a 7-5-1 lead, so 7 wins for themselves, 5 wins for Charlotte, and a single draw back in 2019. The big differential, though, is when it comes to goals scored. NCFC lead in that marker. 27 goals they've scored across 13 meetings, just 12 for the Independents. So Arriaga and Cervania stand over it. Arriaga lobs it in. Mbuyu has support on his left. Big touch into space. Haggard on his left. Tresser Mbuyu. Haggard sticks it into the roof of the net. Back to front, the counterattack, sheer perfection from the Independents as they take an early lead in the North Carolina Derby. Clinical on the counterattack. Off a defensive set piece, they are able to go the full length of the field. Mbuyu, it's the initial touch into space that allows this play to even start, and then Haggard. Talk about the composure right here. Full speed, player sliding in, and he roofs it. What an excellent finish from the 20-year-old. Second goal on the year, in one of the earliest in this series history. The fastest goal was back in 2019. That was in the 3rd minute. Yamakani Chester. So coming in right at the 10th minute. Chris Haggard here to put the home side over their in-state rivals. It's been a tough stretch of games for North Carolina FC. McLaughlin, was he brought down by Acosta? Yes, says Chesky. So a yellow card has come out. Coa Santos. So that's a worry along the back line. Another worry will be the fact that the last time North Carolina FC had a set piece wasn't very long before they were letting one in on the other end. Standing over it again, Luis Arriaga. Two assists on the year. One of the mainstays in this NCFC lineup. Arriaga on his right. Conte got there. There'll be no counter this time. But NCFC off the back of a very hectic schedule. They've been coast to coast, had a heartbreaker against Tucson. They've had their fixtures crammed very close together as well. Cervania slips it through. Arriaga lays it off. Somersault. Crucial intervention inside the 18. Now Mbuyu has his pocket picked by Flick. It's 4 games in 15 days for NCFC. Of course, they were just out on the West Coast on Tuesday before they were on the road in the Midwest in Madison, Wisconsin. They did get a big win against the Mingos. That was an important one. Coach Bradford saying they really wanted to get one over Tucson as well, because that's a 6-pointer, being that Tucson were below them in the table going into that match. They fall 1-0. Probably, I would say, unfortunate to do so as well. Not only because the calls, but they had a lot of very good opportunities. The controversy coming as Max Flick scored a goal that was ruled offside. And from my understanding of it, it was Gustavo Fernandez who was in an offside position when the ball came in, which is why it was disallowed. But there was a penalty given later also by Gustavo Fernandez. Another unfortunate one to concede as they fell 1-0 on the road to that lone penalty kick. Saying the foul on Conte by McLaughlin, not a whole lot in it. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of USL League One. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice. So that was a tough pill to swallow for NCFC. Overall, they had a good grip on the game. That's how cruel things can be. So a quick turnaround. Coach said they just basically got back, had a little bit of recovery session, and then traveled here to Charlotte. Just about a 3-hour drive from Cary to the Queen City. 130 miles as the crow flies. We're through the opening quarter of an hour here at American Legion Memorial. Haggart, the goal scorer. Oberton gets it back. The Frenchman. Pekka was the one to get the block in. And now McLaughlin is fouled by Duty. He's going to get a yellow here, perhaps, for kicking the ball away. Yellow card given out to Shalom Duty because of that kick away. That's number 11 on the year. Should result in a yellow card accumulation suspension now. She got a second yellow card in the game against North Carolina earlier in the year. McLaughlin. Oberton. Well passed out to Bennett. Lovely distribution from Haggart. Omar Sis. Blocked by Pekka. Six, 4, and 3 here at home, Charlotte. Points per game, actually the 4th best in the league when they play at home. Conte returns it to Santos. And a foul comes in. A little bit chippy. Danielle Chesky has tried to get out a few yellows early to calm things down. The Jacks will hit the road next week to take on the Chattanooga Red Wolves on Saturday, October 1st at 7:30 p.m. Tune in and watch the Independence Road matches absolutely free on BayHackleSports.com or WCCB Charlotte. Here's Mbuyu again. Fernandez. Overton. Gustavo Fernandez twice getting the block in. Conte was down behind the play. Chesky goes in to check in on him. Now it'll be their first corner kick opportunity for the Independents, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. So Haggart, the goal scorer. 4 assists on the year. See that Blue Fury banner on the sidelines on this combined night of supporters from the crosstown teams here in Charlotte. They're pleased with what they've seen through the opening 20. Can they peg another one on? Haggart taken away by Skelton. It's been such an interesting dynamic for the Independents this year. With Charlotte FC in town, they signed an agreement where players could be loaned down to the Independents, and that has played well into their hands, as it has tonight. Chris Haggart's actually made 3 appearances for the crosstown MLS team. DC United, the Galaxy, and Montreal. Haggart, who has one of the best individual stories you'll find anywhere in this league or even in MLS. There's a lot of focus on it around that LA Galaxy game. When he was younger, he actually had to have a liver transplant. He's from California. He had a liver transplant, and Sasha Kleshkin came to visit him in the hospital while he was having the transplant. And he went on to go and play collegiately at Georgetown, now of course professionally with the Independents and with Charlotte FC. Kleshkin and Haggart met up before the LA Galaxy game that was hosted here in the MLS series this season. And they put together a very good piece of the two meeting after so many years. Having first met in that hospital after his liver transplant, now both as professionals. Incredible story truly for Chris Haggart, who has yet another moment to add to his list of great ones this year. See Mike Jeffries, head coach and general manager. He has been with this Independence team from its inception. He started off as the head coach, took about a year off, stepping back into the general manager's role, and then resumed duties about after a year's absence. Just about every game in this franchise's history has been played under his watch, so he knows this series very well. Team founded back in 2014, played their first matches in 15. Here's Haggart. Mbuyu. Skelton dispatches him well. He reached the halfway point. We spoke to Mike Jeffries before. I asked him, of all the games you've seen in this competition, he's seen them all. You take a look at John Bradford, his 3rd season as an assistant and then as the head coach. He's also an academy director since 2006, or as part of the academy since 2006. But I got to speak with both head coaches about their favorite moments. Anderson, just a foul. Herrera already on a yellow. So he's going to have to be careful. In fact, both of their center backs, Charlotte, are on yellow cards. That is going to be a big worry because they still have a majority of the game to play here. So polling the coaches, had very different answers over their favorite moment of the series. Coach Jeffrey saying it was a very close one between the 2020 season where the Charlotte Independents won all 4 games in the championship during the regular season, and their very first ever meeting back at the 2015 season in the U.S. Open Cup. We'll break that down for you after this. It's McLaughlin and Cervagna. Four-man wall, offering the right foot of McLaughlin or the left of Cervagna. Leaves it for McLaughlin, blocked out behind by Dimmick. Yet another corner for the away side. So a little trickery here. As you can see, Cervagna just with the back heel roll. Lets him hit it with some pace. So Arriaga lobs it in. Dimmick at the front stick. Somersault. Fernandez, who stayed up, cannons it off Conte, and they'll do it again from the opposite side. Gustavo Fernandez, he had the greatest of games against Tucson. Was called offside on the goal that NCFC did score, and then gave away the penalty kick, albeit in controversial fashion. Saw them lose 1-0 on the road. Here's Arriaga again. Front stick away by Acosta. And we can talk about that first ever meeting. It was in the U.S. Open Cup. A 1-0 win, and the first time they'd ever played, one of the first ever games for the Independents. That was in Cary. 1-0 victory, and it started an incredible cup run for the brand new team. They went on to beat the New England Revolution 1-0 before losing to the Chicago Fire 3-1. Very fond memories of that season for Mike Jeffries, saying it was a real boon for the team in their first season. Mbuyu trying to pick out Overton. Arriaga. Young. Now out to Santos. Bennett. Santos winds it up on his right. Fernandez draws the foul. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+. The home of the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UCF, and more. Sign up today at plus.com, plus.com.espn.com. Will Pulisic in goal. Of course, his defense, most goals conceded on the year with 43. That one misplaced by Zendejas. So much going on around this fixture. Along with the Blue Fury, I got to speak with some members of the Mecklenburg Reserves. Michael and Trey, the treasurer and president respectively. Michael's a season ticket holder for both Charlotte FC and the Independents. It's like a glut of soccer for him, a real lover of the game's dream. So it really is the zenith for soccer in the city. Trey himself has a very special connection with the game. So he actually found his love of the game from his in-laws. His father-in-law and mother-in-law. And his uncle-in-law really helped get him into the game. So his in-laws, Ecuador and Puerto Rico, they said it was time spent with his uncle-in-law watching soccer that really made him fall in love with it. And he decided that he wanted to spend more time around the game and ended up founding the Mecklenburg Reserves. They're the ones making the noise over in the corner. Away to your left. I think it's great to spot like that because the supporters' culture is what makes this derby so much fun. There's been a lot of great moments between these fan bases, some highs and some lows, certainly. We cross the half-hour mark of half number one. Aquafina is the official water of the Charlotte Independents. When the game heats up, cool down with Aquafina. Anderson, great flick on for Max Flick. Acosta, the diving header, spotted it the whole way. Been fouled by Pekka. This is his 50th appearance by my count for NCFC. One of the longest appearance holders for a team that went under a lot of transitioning over the last couple of years. They moved down to League One. He's been one of the mainstays, also a fan favorite as well because of his time with the team. On the other side of things, I got to speak with Ebony, who is with the Oak City supporters. Asked her what the heart of this rivalry was all about. She said a lot of it for a lot of people is just that Charlotte versus Raleigh, my city is better than your city sort of mentality that some people have. She referenced one post that was made on social media by some of the fans for Charlotte, keep Raleigh boring. So there's just so many great examples if you'll go and look at the feuds on Twitter and elsewhere between the two sides. That in-state feuding between them. She had a lot of great memories when I asked her what her favorite one was. One of the ones she pointed out was the 5-0 win in the Open Cup. So we talked about that opening win, the very first time these two teams ever met. Charlotte beating the Railhawks on the road. Well, the very next year they were drawn again in the Open Cup, and at the time the Railhawks, now NCFC, got their revenge. It was 0-0 after full time, so it has to go to extra time because it's in the Open Cup. NCFC ended up winning 5-0. And one thing Ebony pointed out to me specifically about the game was the Connor Tobin goal and the robot celebration. Tobin, who is a long-time member of this NCFC team. Anderson, great speed away from Cervania by Dimmick. In fact, the Open Cup was a very heavily featured fixture between these two sides. Each of the first 3 games played between them were in the U.S. Open Cup. Both teams had pretty decent runs after playing their respective opponents on display tonight. I already told you about the Independents getting a run against some MLS teams. NCFC did the very next thing in the next year as McLaughlin against Duty. Looking for some support. Cervania. Now McLaughlin. Lovely ball cut out by Duty. They've been racking up the corner kicks here, but have not been able to put them in. McLaughlin spurred all of that on. A little bit of the lack of goal-scoring opportunities from the corner kick coming from the fact that NCFC have the least number of headed goals in the league. They've only scored 2 goals from headers all season. So take a look at this replay by AccuVision LASIK. So strength in the air has not been a feature for this NCFC team. So we'll get this Chick-fil-A corner kick in just a moment. Arriaga once again, this time an outswinger on his right. Up to the back stick. Hacked away by Conte. Back into the mixer. Arriaga. Cervania brought down. Sis. He's going to get the yellow card as well. That's now 3 cautions for the Independents here. Their 2 center backs and their central defender right in front of them, all now on yellows. And Garrett McLaughlin in this NCFC attack will be salivating over the opportunities of attacking those 3 central key parts of the defensive effort for the Independents, all on yellows. Here's a look, Cervania. I think normally that probably wouldn't be a yellow card. I think a little bit forced into that one, Chesky, because of the fact that she's given out 2 yellows already. Kind of set the standard early. So we saw some trickery from these 2 over on the corner of the 18-yard box. A little roll off from the Puerto Rican international, Cervania, who's actually called up to international duty. With Dave Sarakin, who's the head coach of Puerto Rico, a name that'll be familiar, former head coach of NCFC. The game was canceled, though, due to the hurricane that swept through the island. Thoughts are with those in Puerto Rico after that. McLaughlin and Cervania. McLaughlin leaves it for Cervania. Too much on that one. The left footer was probably the better of the angles between the 2. In the end, just too much under it from Cervania. Zendejas. Oberton had a long time outside of the squad. Managed to come back in for the game against Central Valley. Chipped a ball in that was headed in by their own team. A Falk own goal to get the game winner in opener against the Fuego. Well, if you're traveling to Charlotte to see an Independence game, make sure you stay at the Hyatt Place downtown. The Hyatt Place is just blocks from the games and surrounded by endless dining options. Hyatt Place downtown, the official hotel of the Charlotte Independents. So Haggart and Santos. Santos, who just turned 23 only days ago. Haggart. Cleared by Cervania. Sis. Guy who's just featured constantly for this Charlotte FC team recently. He's played all but 1 minute in each of the last 5 games so far. Haggart fouled. Out of play by Overton. Well, the Jacks will end the regular season right here at American Legion Memorial Stadium on Saturday, October 15th against this North Carolina FC team for Breast Cancer Awareness Night presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina. Come watch the Jacks take the field in special limited edition jerseys to wrap up the USL League One regular season. So we are really at an abundance of North Carolina soccer. These two teams facing twice in the last 4 game weeks. Such a brutal away trip for North Carolina. There is a light on the end of the tunnel after that very tough loss against Tucson. Naturally, you would think it would be bad to have a game so quickly afterwards, but Coach Bradford said it's actually good just to have another game. It's easy for us to focus back in on the next one at hand. It's a nice transition for them to just go straight into this one. And it'll mean less travel as well, because from this game on, they do not have to leave the state of North Carolina again. They have this game tonight, 3 straight home games, and then a trip back here to American Legion Memorial to finish off the season. So they will be in the Old North State to finish off the rest of the season. Final 5 minutes of the first half. Chris Hegart got us underway about a half hour ago. Roofing one. Since then, both sides have put together a few opportunities, but overall pretty sparse. Santos, back stick, left-footed ball, taken off the head of Bennett. Young just couldn't quite keep it in play. Overton. Too much on that one for Dimmick. It'll be a goal kick. So look at the supporters tonight. The Ultras, the reserves, and the Blue Furia. Got to speak with Ryan of the Independence Ultras. His favorite memory from this fixture was the game last year, 1-0 at the end of the season. Sabella to lift Charlotte over North Carolina FC. Here's Anderson. That 1-0 win was enough to secure a playoff spot against their rivals. That was in 2020, back when both teams were in the championship. Anderson went over the boards on the end line. He has remained down since, I believe. Acosta very sportingly went over immediately to try and help him out any way he could. He was just carrying so much momentum with him from that run along the end line. And he toppled over the boards. See it here. Great work to get it down to the end line, and then watch as he just stumbles. He just puts his weight. I think he's thinking it's going to be a little bit more stable than it was. And he topples over. Olex Anderson back up to his feet. Good to see. Vincentian. 32 caps with his national team. Actually quite a few internationals on this NCFC roster. In fact, he got back into the team with a little bit of help from his head coach, John Bradford. He hadn't been in the team in a while, Olex Anderson. So Bradford just said, hey, what's the coach's contact information? Just let me know what it is. I'll reach out to him. So he did. He was telling him about how good he has been recently in games. And so the coach brought him back into the fold, and he went on to get a point in one of the games that he was called up for. The 6th highest all-time score, Olex Anderson, for St. Vincent's and the Grenadines. Allowed to re-enter play by Danielle Chesky. So overall, both sides can't feel too hard done by for the way things have gone so far. NCFC, but I think they really like to cap things off here with at least a shot on target, just to give Zendejas a little bit something to think about. He's in fine form recently, so to just test him. We're hearing rumors of 3 minutes of stoppage time. Dimmick. Haggart fouled. Pekka not too happy with it either. Daniel Chesky kind of set down the bar early, going a lot to the whistle, I think trying to kind of manage what she knows is going to be a very heated affair between these two sides. Well, we talked about the fact that NCFC only has 2 headed goals on the season. That's bottom of the league. Charlotte FC have the second most, 10 on the year. They have been displeased here twice in a row. Omar Sis tried to start things off a little before Danielle Chesky's liking, and now done so again. I think they may have shown their hand a little bit on what they were trying to do with that set piece. So now the element of surprise ruined. Haggart winds up. Sis! An absolute stinger by Omar Sis! Well, you won't see one better than that. A stunner to cap off a brilliant first half of this NC derby. A goal that will live long in the lore of this fixture. An instant memory made for those fans here. Look at it, what a strike. Nothing Pulisic can do. Absolutely rifled this one off the bar. A strike of pure perfection from Omar Sis. Has sent these fans into raptures here at American Legion Memorial. That's one these fans won't long forget. And that is most certainly going to be a goal of the week contender. It's going to be hard to beat as well. Well, it's all gone to plan here for Charlotte in the first 45. They got out early to a 1-0 lead, as recent history has favored them in this fixture. It didn't go their way early on. They only won 1 of the first 6 games. The very first one ever, but recently they've had a much better time of it. Just a goal kick. NCFC have only won 1 of the last 6. That was this season, 2-0 at their place. But their first trip to American Legion Memorial Stadium has turned sour. 2 goals down as we head into the break. Foul given here, and I'm not sure if that goal was scored in extra time. I believe it just was, so we're probably going to get an extra 45-ish seconds, maybe enough time for this set piece. It's funny enough because they're one of the better teams in stoppage time for goals. They have an excellent record at halftime. They have never lost, win leading at the halfway point. 6-1-0 Charlotte Independent. So as it stands right now, the scales tipped heavily in their favor. Bennett. 45 minutes through this North Carolina derby. Gatorade is scientifically researched and game tested for athletes like your Jacks. When you need hydration, choose the official isotonic sports drink of the Charlotte Independents. Gatorade. 2-0, the Independents lead through 45. We'll bring it more to you on this halftime break as we're 45 minutes through the NC Derby.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Drink it in. Powerful, vibrant, nutrient-rich fuel for healthy, active, experience-rich lives. So you can be your best self, live your best life, and rule the day.
Hi, I'm Scott, and I love Chick-fil-A nuggets because the flavor is unparalleled. As soon as you bite into them, you're in a happy place. The seasoning is perfect.
Hey, I'm Giovanni, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A nuggets is that they're perfectly breaded. There's just that right amount of crisp. I don't know what they're doing in the kitchen, but it's pure magic.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive
Babe,
heartwarming
it's
story.
8 a.m.
Coming up next as well.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Drink it in. Powerful, vibrant, nutrient-rich fuel for healthy, active, experience-rich lives. So you can be your best self, live your best life, and rule the day.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Welcome back to the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina for this Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina halftime. Let's take a look at some of our crazy midweek games as the league comes to a close here towards the end of the year.
On Tuesday night in Tucson, it was a battle of the basement in USL League One as two teams tried to keep their playoff hopes alive. It would be all North Carolina early. They would score here in the first half, Max Flick, but his goal was disallowed. It looked initially like it was offside on him, but perhaps Gustavo Fernandez was shielding the goalkeeper. He was certainly offside. We'll get back to Gustavo Fernandez in a little bit, but that would keep things at 0-0. And then we had a header from Garrett McLaughlin off the bar. Adams with the rebound, really should have put that on target, and then the two combined again. This time, Adams to McLaughlin. His left-footed effort goes wide. He loses his balance right at the wrong moment. Let's go to the 66th, 0-0 at the break, but here, Fernandez again, just inside the box, has his arm around Luis Perez. That's enough for the referee to award the penalty, and the Frenchman would step up and finish it with class, and that would give Tucson the 1-0 win and bring them out of 11th place. Now here's Donnie Barnes with a look back at the action from Northern Colorado versus Omaha.
Northern Colorado and Union Omaha, a game that Northern Colorado had to have to keep their playoff hopes alive, and they got it, just barely. In the 24th minute, they opened the scoring spectacularly. Breck Evans, the defender. What a goal, what a hit. Pick that out. Bottom left corner, Piedrahita, no chance. 1-0, no-co. And they would hold that lead until the 75th when Omaha had a free kick. Joe Brito swinging it into the box. Northern Colorado's goalkeeper, Olsen, coming way off his line. He got his fist to the ball, but he also took out Dalton Knutson, and the referee points to the spot. Northern Colorado incensed. Union Omaha with a great chance to level the match. You see the impact again as Olsen penalized, and Omaha presented the spot kick with 15 minutes remaining. And Noe Meza, Omaha's leading scorer, had just come on a couple minutes prior, and he dispatched the penalty excellently into that corner, past the grasp of Olsen, and it was 1-1 with a quarter of an hour remaining. And Omaha looked the more likely to grab a late winner, but Northern Colorado earning a corner in the 84th minute. Arthur Rogers so deadly from those set pieces, and there was Breck Evans again. Would you believe it? The defender scores the brace, steps up just when his team needed it most. A vital late winner for NoCo. They gain the 3 points and remain right in the thick of the playoff race with a 2-1 win.
We would wrap up midweek action with this Wednesday night tilt between Central Valley Fuego and Madison, a big one. Christian Cheney would get us started early with a superbly struck free kick. That will give the home team the lead 1-0 in the 9th minute. They go to halftime with that score, but then things would get a little silly for Madison. 5 minutes into the second half, Mateus Cassini, his headbutt would result in him being sent off. Madison down to 10 men, and they would be outshot 16-1 in this contest, and then they would be down to 10 men just a few minutes later. Drew Connor with a silly yellow as he's given his marching orders. Fuego would take full advantage. Sharif Dye off the bench. He would find a brace in the last few minutes of this one. Stuck with this one after his first attempt was blocked, and a lovely first-time right-footed finish on the half volley. That would make it 2-0. Really put this one away as Madison's season starts to fizzle away, unfortunately. Choreography brought to you by Fuego. And Sharif Dye would make it 3-0 on the break here. Cerritos with a lovely pass through. Dye would shrug off the challenge of Torres and finish past to Rosarena as Fuego move closer to the bottom end of the playoffs with this big 3-0 victory. That's 3 goals on the season for Sharif Dye, as Coach Martin Vasquez will be a happy man after this one. Fuego alive and in the hunt for the playoff spots. We'll be right back with more halftime after this.
Drink it in. Powerful, vibrant, nutrient-rich fuel for healthy, active, experience-rich lives. So you can be your best self, live your best life, and rule the day.
I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about today where I'm gonna go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What? This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it. What?
Welcome to Tampa Bay. Here he comes. Cross, score! Fernandez, and the Rowdies are on the board.
And it's into the back of the net. El Paso waited for their moment.
Far corner, and it's in. What a goal! Are you watching Football Americas?
Drink it in. Powerful, vibrant, nutrient-rich fuel for healthy, active, experience-rich lives. So you can be your best self, live your best life, and rule the day.
And we're off and running. A spot in the League One final on the line. Fires, one, it's in! What a strike from the top of the box!
It's that time of the year again. USL League One playoffs presented by Hisense. Down the stretch, 4 points separate 4th through 8th. No one's eliminated yet, which is so incredible. The Richmond Kickers can possibly clinch if they can get at least a point and Charlotte lose, which doesn't look like it's going to happen. Late season run maybe? Tucson, they're on a bit of one right now. They got to play Chattanooga later on tonight, who are on a very good run themselves. Adrian Zendejas set the league record, 12 saves in the last match. Of course he's going to be in there. Another great week for Corey Bennett as well, who you've seen, Vinyals, Espinoza, some great names from all around. A lot of players feature in there for Richmond as well. That's your team of the week. And here's last week's midweek. So you had Richmond Kickers 1-0. Colorado keeping themselves on. So that Richmond game going on right now, Jonathan Bolaños set the league record with 11 saves and 11 assists in a single season. Incredible stuff. Central Valley keeping their playoff hopes alive. Tucson doing the same. Northern Colorado, folks, no one's eliminated. Anybody can make it in. Scoreboard brought to you by Hyatt Place. So we're still not done because there are weeks to go. Madison, South Georgia, that'll be an interesting one because Georgia aren't fully in yet. Greenville Triumph trying to move up the table. North Carolina FC could still be alive, but Central Valley really need to get a win there if they want any chance. They've got a lot of games in the bag. On Thursday, the American soccer community lost a coaching legend. Tim Hankinson coached for more than 40 years, including stints with the USL's Charleston Battery, Indy 11, and Chattanooga Red Wolves, as well as working as a broadcaster for San Antonio FC. The entire USL mourns his passing. Our thoughts are with his family and all the players who ever called him coach.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Drink it in. Powerful, vibrant, nutrient-rich fuel for healthy, active, experience-rich lives. So you can be your best self, live your best life, and rule the day.
Hi, I'm Scott, and I love Chick-fil-A nuggets because the flavor is unparalleled. As soon as you bite into them, you're in a happy place. The seasoning is perfect.
Hey, I'm Giovanni, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A nuggets is that they're perfectly breaded. There's just that right amount of crisp. I don't know what they're doing in the kitchen, but it's pure magic.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive
Babe, it's 8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Drink it in. Powerful, vibrant, nutrient-rich fuel for healthy, active, experience-rich lives. So you can be your best self, live your best life, and rule the day.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Welcome back where night has fallen in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's all smiles for the home fans as the Independents lead 2-0 over North Carolina FC. Let's show you how we got to this point with two very good goals. Here's our first half highlights. What a start it was for the Independents. 10th minute, Tresser Mbuyu, big breakaway. That touch sets everything up. Plenty of space to run into, and then lays this on a platter for Haggart, who under pressure finds the one spot he knew no one was going to get to. Right into the top left-hand corner. That's goal number one. Set the pace in this one and was a great opening for the home side. Things got even better, though, because later on, an absolute screamer from Omar Sith. Ball gets lobbed in, initially cleared, but who would block him? Why would they? He's not going to score from there, will he? But he does. What an absolute rocket from way out. Omar Sis showing what he can do from downtown. That's uptown in Charlotte. Hits a rocket from way out. What a shot by Omar Sis. That puts us at 2-0. Here's your Blue Cross Blue Shield halftime stats. Shots even at 2 apiece. NCFC even edging it slightly in possession. The big one that sticks out to me are those yellow cards. 3 for the central players in the back. 2 center backs, Sis in front, all on yellows. Watch out for that. So we are ready for second half action of this NC Derby here at American Legion Memorial. The kickoff from Overton, and we are underway. Santos, we welcome you back in here. Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Zach Burley. Delighted you've joined us. Can Flick get that one across the end line? No, and he sticks it out for a corner. Well, set pieces have yielded some great goals so far. Granted, on the opening goal, it wasn't their set piece that yielded the goal. It was a set piece for NCFC. They went the distance to get it. The second one did come off a header out from a free kick. So can they make it the perfect hat trick? Haggart, he's had himself a night. To the front stick for Overton. Haggart is offside. The Independents will finish out their road schedule against the Greenville Triumph on Saturday, October 8th at 7 p.m. You can tune into all the Jacks road games for absolutely free on BayHackleSports.com or WCCB Charlotte. I mentioned this right before we went to halftime. Charlotte have never lost this season when leading after 45 minutes, 6-1-0. This is the 14th meeting between these two sides. If they were to win here, Charlotte, it would be a very narrow series lead for Charlotte, for NCFC rather. Currently they lead 7 wins themselves to Charlotte's 5, a single draw. Haggart. Overton. Taken away from Bennett by Fernandez. It's funny because these teams haven't played as many times as you would think. They've just not been in the same league very often. At the very beginning, NCFC, then the Railhawks were in the NASL. Then they moved into USL with Charlotte. Played the championship for a few seasons, and then NCFC went down to League One. So they were apart for a year. In 2021, the Independents came down themselves this year, so they are reunited. So this is not the most heavily featured fixture in history for either of the teams. But interestingly enough, for NCFC, this is actually the team that they have the second best win percentage against in their matches. Currently, as it sits, they have a 53% win rate when they play this Charlotte team. The only team they've beaten a higher percentage of the time is Richmond at 54%. Nicely fell through. An offside flag will come up. Recent history, though, has not been in their favor. See this ball over the top, clearly offside. 2020 was a brutal year for NCFC in this fixture. That was when everything was highly localized, so you play the same team a lot. They had to play this Charlotte team 4 times, lost every single one by a margin of 5-1, including 3 shutouts. So that would now make it 5 wins in the last 6 for Charlotte if they can hold on here. Early history favored NCFC. won 6 of the first 7, outscoring the Independents 23-4. Arriaga gets it off duty. Was he fouled? Got to be careful. He's on a yellow. Both he and Sis are on yellows. Alongside their center back partner, Hector Acosta. Now Duty is speaking some more words here. He already received his second yellow in the reversed fixture in Cary. And if there's one surefire way to get NCFC back into this game, it would be to give them a man advantage for a majority of the second half. You can see the man wearing the captain's armband, Jordan Skelton. 25 starts now for the Englishman, as you see here. Just a little holdback on Arriaga, not a whole lot in it. I wouldn't want to see a second yellow for that, but you might see a first yellow, which is unfortunate that those aren't the same thing. But as anyone who's watched soccer will tell you, they are not. So Arriaga stands over a set piece to try and get his side back in it here. It is a rave in front of Adrian Zendejas' goal. Cervania. Conte goes down. Cervania will get a talking to from Danielle Chesky. Through the massive body, Zendejas views this free kick. He tried to catch him out here, but Overton was wise enough to get there. Well, we saw them score from its opposition like this in the first half. Mbuyu turns on the flare. Funny because there is no home field advantage in this series. 6-1-6 the home team is overall. Each side has won 3 away games. It has not helped to be at home more than it has to be away. Mbuyu. Hegart. Bennett winds one up, back stick just over Mbuyu. Conte keeps it alive. Oberton. Bennett. And away by Flick. Oberton, one of the most experienced players in this league. 33-year-old Frenchman who's been just about everywhere. Started his career at Bordeaux, then went on to Man United. Won the League Cup and the Premier League, and then to Newcastle United. Spent the last 5 years all across the world. Turkey, Bulgaria, Russian, down in the English Championship with Wigan before joining the Independents. Coach Mike Jeffries says he just brings a whole other level to the locker room. He's a real mentor to guys like Bennett and Mbuyu. One for McLaughlin to chase. Duty. He is walking on very thin ice. And I can promise you there was a conversation at halftime from this NCFC team. Target those center backs. Send balls down, make them chase, put them in awkward positions. They are hunting for that second yellow. Here it is, McLaughlin. And I think Duty is lucky there that Acosta is nearby, because if he's not, he probably gets the yellow. Maybe just a slight benefit of the doubt because Acosta's covering for him. Skelton every single time, though, has gone over and has pleaded his team's case. No sympathy, though, from the judge and the jury, Danielle Chesky. As much arguing as Skelton has done in front of her tonight, he might as well sit for the bar. Well, they've had some opportunities from set pieces, just haven't been able to create anything inside the 18 yet. Into the second half. One player clearly in an offside position. Cervania leaves it. And that will be a free kick for the Independents. Pepsi Cola is the official soft drink of the Charlotte Independents. Enjoy ice cold Pepsi at your next Independents game. Pepsi, born in the Carolinas. Well, you didn't get to see it, but they debuted a TIFO during pregame. The combined efforts of the reserves, Blue Fury, and the Ultras. It featured Miguel Ibarra, who does not feature tonight because of injury, a longtime player for Minnesota United. Actually, by my count, the leading appearance leader for the Loons. A guy who was a fan favorite there, earned the nickname Batman alongside Christian Ramirez, who got the nickname Superman. And that was the feature of the TIFO. They had a good display of Miguel Ibarra as Batman. Funny enough, Miguel Ibarra actually got his pro debut in 2012 against the Railhawks, the predecessor to this NCFC team, back when he used to play for Minnesota United in the NASL. Ibarra, though, not available for selection tonight. Got along just fine without him. Now Garrett McLaughlin. Cervania down the middle. McLaughlin. Just nobody making that cutting run. I think he was expecting Cervania to make a diagonal run. It's been a big year for Garrett McLaughlin. Overton fouls. He had a very good year, McLaughlin, with TFC2 last year. Funny enough, he's actually the 7th highest scorer all time in League One history. A hat trick would take him all the way up to 2nd, which is incredible. He has 20 career goals in the league, 12 this season, 8 last. A hat trick tonight, or just 3 the rest of the year, would take him up to 2nd, just under Emilio Terzaghi. By the way, to update you with that game going on between Richmond and Central Valley. Richmond, who are trying to continually book a spot week in and week out in the playoffs. We're up 1-0, now drawn 1-1 against Central Valley. Onside, Anderson into the side netting under deflection. It'll be just a corner. They've been racking up the set pieces, being harried by those Blue Furia supporters down for this Chick-fil-A corner kick. Arriaga away by Overton. Skelton. Now Bennett perhaps can spring a counter. Mbuyu round the corner for Santos. Hegart calling for it on the far side. Koa Santos lifts it up away by Skelton. They are running them ragged with this counterattack. Jordan Skelton, captain in his first season, had a good year 2 years ago with the Tormenta. He went down to League Two, where he captained the Des Moines Menace to a League Two championship. I asked Coach Bradford how he found out about him. He said he got the recommendation from a former goalkeeper coach who set up a call between the two of them. They chatted everything from football to life. He said he was just so supremely impressed that he decided to bring him in. Anderson in line all the way across. Duty with the diving header. Half an hour remains in the Queen City. Can North Carolina FC do anything to reverse the tide in this derby? Haggart, Dimmick, and there the sliding challenge. Young to cut it out. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 in the Sirius XM app. Overton. Dimmick. Conte. Well, he saw Sis do it in the first half and said, might as well. Anything could happen. In the end, this doesn't catch it quite as sweetly, but not to say much about this, more about Sis's opportunity. Conte from Sierra Leone, joined back on August 4th, has started in all but one of the 6 games he's had the option of playing him. A guy who's bounced around in the lower divisions here in America with Albion San Diego and Detroit City and Nisa. About his career is his time in Indonesia as the offside flag comes up. He played for 5 different Indonesian top division clubs from 2019 to 2015, but the most notable one is Persipura Jayapura, which is traditionally the most successful club in Indonesia. He actually finished 3rd in the top division with Conte in the side back in 2019, which earned them qualification to the Asian Cup, which is basically like the Champions League here at CONCACAF, or in UEFA, it's the equivalent for the 2021 season. Sadly enough, though, the very next year in 2022, they were relegated from Division 1, which is the first time they've ever been relegated since 1989. So Ibrahim Conte, a real globetrotter, he's been everywhere. Coach Jeffries thinks he's been a good steadying presence in midfield for the Independents. Corey Bennett. Santos. Overton. Independents finish out the regular season here at American Legion Memorial on Saturday, October 15th against North Carolina FC for Breast Cancer Awareness Night, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina. Come watch the Jacks take the field to close out the regular season in special limited edition jerseys. Well, by that time, the game may mean a little bit less between these two teams. North Carolina FC aren't necessarily eliminated with a loss here. They would also, in order to avoid defeat or elimination from the playoffs, need Madison to get a draw or a win, and they would need Tucson as well to pull one off, because a Tormenta win, a Red Wolves win, and a loss here tonight would mean they are eliminated. from this year's edition of the playoffs presented by Hisense. They're deep into stoppage time in Richmond where it's 1-1. 21st minute against Madison and Tormenta where it is still 0-0. Haggart bounces his shot off Skelton. And another corner kick for the Jacks. Ball by Oberton. Haggard, who's had himself a night, just have to settle for the corner. Take it alongside Santos for this Chick-fil-A corner kick. Haggard, front stick. It's behind by Duty. Shalom Duty. Thumping header. The man from Togo. Another good ball. It's AccuVision LASIK replay. Just couldn't turn it on frame. Now flick. Anderson. Is he able to keep it in play? No, he was not. Goal kick. A crucial interconference match awaits as the end of this season draws closer. El Paso FC travels to historic Al Lang Stadium to meet the Tampa Bay Rowdies Wednesday, September 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes. Just too heavy of a touch by Young. There is some of the Mecklenburg reserves. Good night for them. They bring in supporters groups from Charlotte FC as well, the Blue Furia. A lot of the members of the Blue Furia from South America who live in the Charlotte area. Jorge, who was representing the Blue Fury in a conversation I had before the match, was just so proud of what they've been able to put together for Charlotte FC games. Love supporting this Independence team as well on this crossover night for Latin Heritage Night. Brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Anderson. Santos played the ball on the ground. Koa Santos. He's on loan from Charlotte FC himself. Actually the first Hawaiian men's soccer player in the Pac-12 during his time with San Diego State. He's had a very good time out on loan, including a game-winning goal and a game-winning assist. So Cervania and Arriaga again. Anderson stands in an offside position. Arriaga himself just too far away from that near post. Luis Arriaga. You can see just whipping this one in. The guy who's created a team-high 30 chances. He's one of just 2 players to play in all 25 games this season, Luis Arriaga. Another one of this bunch of youngsters in this team. It's the youngest average age of any team in League One at 22. In fact, remarkably, as Bennett is played in here, Corey Bennett drives this one well over. Remarkably, if you take a look at each individual starting 11, so if you look at the starting 11s that each team has fielded this year, You take each one individually. Of the top 20 starting 11s, North Carolina FC have fielded the youngest of 18 of those. 18 of the youngest starting 11s this season have been fielded by NCFC as they really embrace the youth to pro pipeline they have. The other two, by the way, both of Charlotte. So the top 20 youngest lineups fielded by the two teams on display tonight. Charlotte, the only team younger than them on average, is North Carolina FC. I asked what that dynamic was like for John Bradford, who spent quite a long time with the academy, was the director for a while, and still holds that job really of taking the players, watching them at that level, and then introducing them to the starting lineup. He says it's very rewarding for him professionally because he did spend so long with so many of them. He says it's great to see players who get to go up to the main team and then move on as well, because it's not just about, he said, the 16, 17-year-old kids who there are plenty of on this roster and who gets a place, but also for the 20, 21, 22, 23-year-olds. Cervania. Surely there's got to be something there. It'll be a foul, perhaps for a handball. And they'll bring on the referees or the physios for a head injury. But he was talking about, Coach Bradford, the bringing up of these kids, and he says it's just as much about the 20 to 23-year-olds who are coming back from college or getting done with their college careers, moving on to the pros. Says he likes to see when they can give them a good run-in with this team and then move them on further up. You take a look at this ball inside Cervania. Good touch initially to set himself up. Acosta does win the ball, but catches some of Cervania as well. Jaden Cervania, Birmingham, Alabama native, plays for the Puerto Rican national team. His brother Brandon Cervania plays for FC Dallas. Funny enough, the two of them actually met on international duty in the U20 CONCACAF Championship. Puerto Rico played the United States, and the brothers were on opposite sides. Santos. Pekka on for Anderson. McLaughlin ahead of him. Outside of the boot pass is a lovely one. Garrett McLaughlin. Alex Anderson puts it into the side netting. Some of the best combination play we've seen from North Carolina FC. Good hold-up play here, as the window was kind of shut on him by Duty, so he cycles it back around. Acosta just closed the door on Anderson and made it difficult to get that shot in. The Jacks' next matchup is Saturday, October 1st at 7:30 p.m. against the Chattanooga Red Wolves. You can tune in to watch the Independents for absolutely free on BayHackleSports.com or WCCB Charlotte. Only kept 2 clean sheets at home this year, Charlotte. These were in back-to-back games earlier in the season. So this will be a big confidence builder for them heading into the final stretches of the season. Flick, fouled by Conte. Things really have gone awry recently for North Carolina FC. They had a very good start to the season. They won 5 of the opening 10. John Bradford was named the May Coach of the Month. They were actually in second after the first 12 game weeks. And the last win of that really good stretch was against Charlotte, a 2-0 win. From then on out, things have not gone their way. They went on a very long winless period. In fact, they've only won 2 of their last 15, both of which were against Forward Madison. Bradford said a little bit of that was due to the fact that 6 of their opening 10 were at home, so it gave them a nice base. They went and faced some adversity after that game against Charlotte. Fortunate bounce here. McLaughlin fires it over. Opportunities you gotta take in moments like this as we head into the final 15 minutes here in Charlotte. Nearly got themselves into trouble. In the end, there was probably enough bodies there that even had he put it on frame, it wouldn't have gone in. McLaughlin played his college ball at SMU for the Mustangs. Got drafted 8th overall by the Dynamo. Brilliant header by Santos back to Zendejas. A rather quiet night for Zendejas, especially compared to that Central Valley game where he set a league record 12 saves. So look at some of the fans over there. Such great supporter culture around these two. That was one of the things I noticed most about talking with the respective supporter groups for both of these sides, is just how much it's meant to them in their life. I mentioned Ebony, who's with the Oak City supporters. She said she wouldn't have some of her best friends in her life if it wasn't for supporters culture. One of the more interesting supporters groups in the nation, Oak City. Nicknamed their tailgates the Boneyard because they found out that the State Science Museum had actually been burying whale carcasses. I'm not kidding about this. I'm not making this up either. They were burying whale carcasses under the current location of North Carolina Stadium at Wakeman Soccer Park. So they belovingly named themselves the Dead Whales. So for any Charlotte fans, we're going to make the trip out to Cary for a game next season. You don't have an opportunity to do it this year, but if you're going to go out next season, make sure to stop by the Boneyard. Still a lot of great rapport between the two fan bases as well. There's a lot of really fun relationships in these lower divisions. One of memory is the flock of Ford Madison. Always travel really well. But as it stands, it looks like the Independents might edge it out. They've never lost when leading at half this season. Trying to continue this trend of Independents dominance in this North Carolina derby. A lot of history is not in the favor of the visiting team. Only once has a team come behind in the previous 13 meetings to win. That was a 6-2 victory back in 2018. Anderson, Zendejas off the bounce. Anderson trying to just work some space for himself out wide. Comes off of Santos, pops up nicely. AccuVision LASIK replay. It'll be a yellow, no, a straight red for Gabriel Oberton. And we'll play the final 10 minutes and change with a man down for the home side. Well, a direct sending off for the Frenchman. There's a final shake-up to the action here at American Legion Memorial. Well, I'm sure a part of that halftime game plan was to try and get a red card issued out to a Charlotte player. I don't think they thought it was going to be a straight red from Oberton. Here's a look, and that's a foot left up high. straight into the gut of Summersall. It's not the most vicious red card you'll ever see, but it still boots up, studs into the stomach of Summersall, who's able to continue. I think that's the right decision. I don't even think it was too intentional either by Overton, but still studs up that high in the air. So they'll have to play a man down here. By the time we resume, we'll have 10 minutes plus stoppage time as we get a double substitution for the Independent. So they're going to have a double substitution. It'll be Will Vint and Grayson Barber. They won't come on just yet. So now what can they do with a man advantage? Anderson. Arriaga. Summersall. St. Kitts and Nevis international who drew the red card. Servania. And now Young. Here's Max Flick. And Summersall. Had a very good campaign with St. Kitts and Nevis during CONCACAF World Cup qualifying. They won Group F. Ended up losing to, I believe, El Salvador or Honduras. Summersall. Flick. And it's going to be a penalty kick as well. Well, from bad to worse for the Independents, a straight red card and now a penalty kick. So we'll see on the replay exactly who it was that commits the foul. So sent in by Summersall. And here's Flick. And it is a very slight pull on the jersey by Haggart. I'm not sure if there was any contact with the boot, maybe is what Chesky's seeing there. But there are some NCFC fans saying right now, well, that's payback for the soft penalty against Tucson. Because we'll have the substitutions now. Brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina. Grayson Barber and Ilya Shevtsov wait to come on for the Jacks. It's Nicholas Molina will come on for North Carolina FC. We'll get Garrett McLaughlin. Nobody has scored more penalty kicks in the league than him. Nobody has had more penalty kicks awarded to them than them. Barber. So Garrett McLaughlin, 4 penalty kicks he's made on the year. His side are a man up and are now trying to half the deficit to give them some hope heading into the final few minutes of this North Carolina derby. Zendejas stands in opposition to him. Just some arguing over encroachment. This has been a long lead up for McLaughlin to think about this one. Torturous to have to stand from 12 yards and wait. Trying anything to throw him off. McLaughlin. Nobody's made more penalty kicks than him this year. To give his team some hope into the final knockings of this derby, Garrett McLaughlin puts it the opposite way and halves the Independence lead. They are alive in the North Carolina derby. Well taken penalty kick. He had to wait at least a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes to take that penalty kick. Agonizing time to think about it. Just waits, puts it the opposite way of Zendejas. And now this is going to be a dynamite run in here because they are a man up and just a lone goal down. Thomas Maya will come on alongside Tall Boys. So these brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina FC. So Tall Boys will slot in at center back and provide a little more cover back there as Santos comes off. He might even play as right back. So it does look like they'll have another number in the back there as Ilya Shevtsov gets his back underway. It looks like they are going to go to 5 at the back with Duty, Acosta, and Tall Boys now making up the center back pairings. Nicolas Molina is on, the towering Argentinian. So the straight red from Oberton and the penalty kick by McLaughlin gives them a chance here when it seemed like there was none. Reminder, only once has a team come from behind to win in this fixture through 13 games. Only once has there ever been a draw. 1-1 back in 2019. Down by Conte. They're going to bring on the physios because Conte took the ball to the head. You can see the substitution there. Cervania coming off Molina. On the right-hand side of your screen, the Argentinian. He has very fond memories of playing this Charlotte Independence team. Got a game-winning goal on his pro debut against Charlotte back in the reverse fixture in Cary. This guy's actually, I've seen a lot of over his career. Unintentionally, I got to see him play a lot for West Virginia United in League Two, where he was the MVP back in 2021. 16 goals and 13 appearances. And then I also got to see him play for the Seahawks of UNCW, where he played some of his college ball after transferring in from St. Francis, Brooklyn. So he is a very tall player, over 6'5". Just offer them maybe something off the set piece, not an area we've seen NCFC able to really get a lot of chances off of. Excluding the penalty kick, of course. Summersall. Now Young with 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Young deflects behind for a corner. Arriaga on this Chick-fil-A corner kick. Watch for Molina in there. He's being man-marked by Carson Tallboys, who's just come on. Arriaga front stick, nodded along, and there is Zendejas. If you're looking for a little Greek, a little Southern, always fresh, enjoy a great meal and an ice-cold Pepsi at your local Showmars. Well, Zendejas doesn't have to have 12 saves in order to have a great night. He's had a few crucial ones. Here's Molina holding it up for Arriaga. We're into the 90th minute now. We're hearing 6 minutes of stoppage time. The latest ever goal scored in this fixture in regulation was in the 94th minute. That was a 1-0 game winner back in 2020 by Valentin Sabella to secure playoffs for Charlotte FC, Charlotte Independence. You see the fans just trying to will their team onto the end here. It's not the latest overall goal. The Independence lost a big 5-0 game in the Open Cup. It was 0-0 going into added time, or extra time rather, and they gave up a goal in the 115th. But it's going to take a lot of stoppages to get us there tonight. 94th as it stands, the latest goal ever scored. Ilya Shevtsov not too happy with the call. Molina chases Duty. Long by Sis, whose stunner at the end of the first half stands as the game-winning goal for now. Gustavo Fernandez. Now Anderson. Just smuggling it away here. Young lobs it up, an easy one for Adrian Zendejas. Conte is down again. That's going to give us more stoppage time here. Looks like he's signaling for a substitution, pointing to that left calf. Costa will come over to give him a little bit of help. And this is just going to prolong things here in Charlotte. Well, I think the Independents would have felt very good about things 15 minutes ago. Things have turned a little bit sour in their mouths here. As Will Vint will come on as his replacement. Last appeared against Greenville on the 9th of September. Just try and take a little bit of the air out of this one. Conte, having just recently joined to be replaced by Will Vint. Been last season on loan from Lancia United with the Switchbacks. The Englishman who had extensive time in the Man United Academy, 56 appearances and over 3,200 minutes at the U15, 16, and 17 levels. His father was actually the academy director for Everton Football Club. Now, so 3 minutes plus more stoppage time because of Conte's injury. And if it's going to come, it's going to come late and dramatically. We wouldn't have it any other way in this North Carolina derby. Through the lines for Anderson. Off Acosta and behind. Yet another corner kick. They are racking them up here. This Chick-fil-A corner kick to be sent in by Arriaga. Zendejas can palm it away. The goalkeeper was up for it, Pulisic. walking a fine line here. And they've really got to go for it because they cannot drop many points if they want to keep their spot in the playoffs alive. Right now they are rock bottom in League One, but not eliminated. Arriaga now for Flick. Right-footed ball in. Zendejas. The bobble, but he can pick it up. I think we'll probably play into at least the 98th. And there's not much room for error here. Live and die by the goal. It's all they need, NCFC. And they're going to have a set piece to try and get it. Least headed goals in the league, 2 all year long. What they would give for 1 now. Arriaga. Straight up by Fernandez and a foul, arms on the back of Shevtsov. They're going to have to take a look at the Ukrainian. There's just going to be more and more time added on. Ilya Shevtsov, who's on loan this season from Desna Chernayev in Ukraine. It's one of the most harrowing stories you'll see anywhere. They play at Yuri Gagarin Stadium, which if you'll go online, you can just search it up, Chernayev Stadium. An excellent video was put out just earlier last week where the Ukrainian Institute filmed a video putting some drones up in the air to show the damage that has been done during the siege of Chernayev in the Ukrainian war. Also got a yellow card as well, Shevtsov, during that play. The stadium was damaged in World War II and has been damaged again. It's quite extensive as well. And over the video, they had Andrei Yarmolenko, one of the most well-known Ukrainian footballers who plays with West Ham, speaking over it, kind of explaining a little bit about the history of the stadium and describing how the Russians have destroyed 479 monuments of Ukrainian heritage. It's one of the talking points from some of the supporters with the Independents, talking about hearing the stories of Shevtsov this year. It's been a great rallying cry around that club. Clubs like Dortmund offering up money to help repair the stadium when the time comes to do so. Coach Mike Jeffries saying that he's spoken with Ilya and knows how happy he is that he's able to be here and play. Which wouldn't be the case if he was back home. So now we could go into the 100th minute. I told you the latest goal of this fixture was 1:15 and we weren't likely to get to it, but at this pace, who knows? If a goal came now, it would be the latest in NC Derby history. Into the 99th minute in Charlotte. A man up, a goal down, trying to salvage something on the road in hopes of keeping their playoff spot alive. Away by Tall Boys. Shevtsov hooks it clear. Summersall whips it in. Arriaga. Fernandez. Just a goal kick. Well, the moment flashed before his eyes. Not the most conventional of opportunities. And is there anything left in this one? A Good initial ball in. Arriaga does the right thing. And there was just a moment of miscommunication between Anderson and Fernandez as they both tried to go for the ball. It was a very tight angle, but in the end, he puts it well wide. Now into triple digits, the 100th minute, and that will do it. They weather the storm and will get away all 3 points from this North Carolina derby. 2 goals in the first half, including a stunner, enough to lift the Independents over their in-state rival. Here is your man of the match, presented by Noda Brewing Company. Who else but Omar Sis, whose absolute stunner is the game winner on the night. What a strike, befitting of the series, befitting of the game. Folks, we're going to wrap it up for you right after this. Stick with us. It's the Charlotte Independents taking this derby 2-1.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
What's the difference between good and great? Good tries to get it right every time. Great actually does. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you always get exactly the look you want. Great clips. It's gonna be great. What's the difference between good and great? Good is when your haircut costs less. Great is when it still meets high standards. At Great Clips, you'll always get the haircut you want for less. And with our easy online check-in app, you'll save time too. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Fun fact, you know Mountain Dew and spicy chicken is the perfect combo?
Does it look like I don't know that?
Okay. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
You know, we both did the employee training, Gary.
Okay, don't jump down my beak.
Doing spicy? Do the do.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Well, we're wrapping up for you, folks. Adrian Zendeja sees his side win this North Carolina derby as the Independents lifted 2-1 over NCFC. Let's show you how we got there with our full-time highlights from American Legion Memorial. Presented by AccuVision LASIK. We got underway early, 10 minutes in. Tresser Mbuyu, big touch around the outside to set up this absolutely great goal. Lays it on a platter for Hegart, who roofs it in. So 10 minutes in, the home side is already up. What a ball, what a finish, 1-0 to the home side. Things got even better, though. In the 46th minute, one of the best goals you'll see all season long. Hegart again sends it in, and Omar Sis, the audacity to have it from there, kisses the crossbar on its way in. That one's going to be a goal of the week, heck, goal of the year nominee. That's your game winner, 2-1 going into the half. Late on, there was a red card that gave him some hope, and then this penalty kick. Flick is fouled, though lightly, and so now with a penalty kick opportunity, the man who doesn't miss, Garrett McLaughlin, steps up and finishes 2-1 to cap off a great derby as things got interesting late. In the end, the penalty, though, not enough to lift them over. Here's your full-time stats presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. 2-1 the final. In the end, North Carolina edged it in possession and shots, though in the end, not enough to get it. They're going to feel hard done by. They got a little bit of help thanks to the red card and penalty. Folks, this was an absolute pleasure to bring to you. They're not done, though. They'll meet in the last game of the season. There'll be more for the Blue Fury and Co to cheer for. From myself, Zach Burley, from Charlotte, saying good night. 2-1, the Independents take the North Carolina Derby.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League, League One, cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League, League One.